Where with not a single shot on target. Phil Neville, Jamie Carragher alongside me. How best would you describe that first half, Phil?
I think it's been a poor game. I think there's been a lack of quality, particularly in the final third from both sides. I think City's probably played a little bit better in terms of the system that they've played. Pep surprised us a little bit with playing 4 at the back. But I think United have struggled in the final third. There's been great opportunities for Rashford, for Zlatan, for Pogba, and they've just not produced any real quality.
United won them down within 30 seconds at Stamford Bridge on Sunday. They could have been down by 1-0 within 2 minutes, could they not?
Yeah, it was, and it was Navas on that right-hand side who I think's caused Luke Shaw massive amounts of problems. They played the ball direct, they got the ball straight out to the right-hand side, and I think Luke Shaw, throughout the first half, he's just been 2 or 3 yards too far off Navas, and then he actually makes a fantastic run just across the face of Daley Blind, and I think he actually should have scored that.
Jamie, change of personnel, 9 in all for City tonight. Have we seen a change in approach as well?
We have. I mean, there's been a lot of people questioning Pep Guardiola these last few weeks, and maybe he's one-dimensional. He only plays one certain way. He's gone 4-4-2, and he's been quite direct. I mean, we've looked at the stats that they've gone long twice as much as what they normally do. And you see this now. You see this 2 strikers right up the pitch. They know United are going to press. They've bypassed that straight into the front men, and that's where they've got the joy tonight. And I think it just sort of highlights it's not. Pep Guardiola does do different things. He played 3-4-3 the weekend, and that's where they've got that joy tonight, playing maybe what you might call an old-fashioned British style of football, getting it into the front end with quality, but 2 plays right up the front. Not what we saw last time they came here, where they had people in pockets, De Bruyne and Silva, completely different. And United have found that difficult to deal with. And
could Aguero off the bench perhaps be the difference with this so evenly matched at the moment, even with all those changes?
Well, I think when I look at the sides at the moment, United do look like they've got the power to go on and win the game, but City's bench is probably really strong, and they need to probably bring Aguero on if they want to win the game.
You were getting annoyed with 2 in particular in that first half, Ibrahimovic and Pogba. How would you describe their 45s?
I don't think Ibrahimovic has probably had a worse 45 minutes in his career, really. And the reason I'm getting wound up by them is that Jose Mourinho took a lot of stick these last few weeks. The manager always does. But we're talking about a fella last season who got 50 goals, Ibrahimovic. Pogba, the most expensive player in the world. If you cost that much money, you've got to decide big games and do things in the big games. They're non-existent, and they're not playing Man City. They're playing Man City reserves. Let's be honest about it. The game's there for Manchester United to go on and win, and those 2 players, not just there, the last few weeks in these big games, non-existent. They've got to produce a far lot more.
So they're not being decisive, but this game, Man United getting revenge for their Derby Day defeat here back in September. 8 attempts from United, 5 from Man City, 2 on target from the host, none from Manchester City. The first time that has happened since a Premier League game against Arsenal back in April 2012. So a 3rd goal of the season for Mata, and a very important one as well. A real sense of relief around here. He and Ander Herrera are now speaking with Guy Harold.
And Juan, many congratulations. Juan, how much did the club need that win tonight?
Well, obviously it was very important to win today. After the defeat we had in London, it was a massive game for us. Derby is always difficult to play against Manchester City. They play very good football, and I think we gave 100% and we won today.
And there was a much improvement in the second half. What was said at the break?
You know, in the first half it's always tough, this kind of games. Everyone doesn't want to lose. No one wants to lose. A lot of tension in the game, so in the second half I think we were very calm, more calm on the ball. Juan scored the goal, and then I think we improved a lot, so we are very happy with the win. But overall, for our fans, the last derby we lost, they were disappointed with our performance, and now I think they can be proud.
Juan, what's it like to score the winning goal in the Manchester derby?
Well, a great feeling. Every time you score an important goal is obviously a great feeling, but the most important thing is that we fought together today. I think we left everything in the pitch, and that's what we had to do to beat this team.
Was there a lot of soul-searching after the performance at the weekend?
Well, obviously it was a bad game for us against Chelsea. We had 3 days until this game, and we knew that we had to be strong in our minds to face this game in the best condition, and I think we have done that, and we showed today that we are still competing.
And finally, Ander, what does this win give you?
A lot of confidence, first of all, and then we all know Premier League is the most important thing. Now we have to face 2 difficult teams. They are fighting for the relegation right now, Burnley and Swansea, so they are going to give everything, but if we want to fight for Premier League we have to win both games. All our competitors are losing points, so now I think it's our chance to be close to the top.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, Burnley to come here at the weekend. Phil Neville, Jamie Carragher alongside me. Is it a sense for the United players of joy at beating City, but also a sense of relief as well?
Well, massive confidence boost and massive relief. I think Jose said before the game he was embarrassed on Sunday after the game. And they needed that win tonight because you don't beat Burnley, you don't beat Swansea, like Ander Herrera says, without winning games like tonight. And the confidence from winning a big game for these players, I think, is huge. What
was the difference between United second half and the one we saw first half?
A bit more quality. I think Carragher mentioned it there in the second half. I mean, it was City control the game. I think first half, I think Manchester United, we said they had to improve. I think Zlatan improved a few more. Probably should have scored, to kill the game late on, but, a lot better from him. But I think as soon as Manchester United got that goal, you've seen that the substitution the manager made, Mata came off, Schneiderlin came on. And City, even in the first half, the only thing they really had was Navas out wide, wasn't it, putting crosses in. I think Luke Shaw was a lot better second half. So you never really felt... well, obviously you're a Man United fan. Do you feel worried at any stage that City were going to get that goal?
I never thought they were going to score. For all the possession in the first half, even in the second half, when the last 10 minutes Schneiderlin came on, you never felt threatened, actually, that even when Aguero came on, he played outside the box, that City were maybe content with actually going out of the competition.
Well, let's have a look at the goal that decided the game. Was it partly down to United just being a little bit more aggressive in the second half?
100%. And they started right from the kick-off. Pogba hit the post. Zlatan started to win headers. I think Company going off was a big thing. Herrera was fantastic. He was the best player on the pitch for me for United tonight. He chased, he harassed, he set the tempo, and United played at a higher tempo. And I think the crowd got up for that and recognised, and Zlatan started putting himself around.
He didn't. You see that, and there was actually talk of a penalty, and Juan Mata comes in now. There you see that coming together. But if you see it from another angle, you see the referee. He actually put his arm to the side and says, it's no penalty. So. I think credit too for Juan Mata for not sort of stopping, appealing for a penalty, carrying on with his run. You see that there, you see the referee at the top of the picture there. Mike Dean didn't give it, but I mean, Otamendi's got to do so much more there.
You spoke at half-time about quality in the final. That's the first bit of quality Zlatan showed. The little side pass, Herrera makes the run, but Juan Mata, who was fantastic, slots it away.
First assist for United from Zlatan. I mean, you called it possibly the first worst half you've ever seen from him. Where did it improve second half?
Well, it had to improve. I mean, he's got too much quality to continue like that. I mean, Phil's just mentioned that. I think there was another great ball he put down the right-hand side, I think maybe for Rashford, second half. And I think Company going off was a big difference. I think, to be fair, Company bullied him a little bit first half in terms of... Zlatan uses his presence and his power, but Company, he's not going to do him for pace or power or in the air. And I think it was a massive difference, I think, second half with the collar-off goal there, and Otamendi, who just seemed to fall to pieces without Company second half.
And we know about the history between Mourinho and Mata during their time at Chelsea. Is he becoming a more important figure for Mourinho here at United?
I mean, I was here when we actually bought Juan Mata, and you look at the stats of Juan Mata. When we was looking at Chelsea, he's never injured. He assists goals a lot. He plays in 2-3 different positions. He scores important goals and he's always there. And I actually thought he would be the first out the door when Jose came, but he's actually becoming one of the most important players.
Do you agree, Jamie?
No, I do. I mean, he's played almost 115, 116 games. We looked at the stats. He's been involved in nearly 50 goals. He's scored, I think, 29 goals, 18 assists. And sometimes I think he gets criticised here because Man United are used to pace, maybe counter-attack and flying wingers. He's a number 10. What number 10 does have pace? There's very few. And as Phil said, he's never injured, but he gets goals and assists, he delivers. How many times do we talk about number 10s at other teams where we say, yes, he's neat and tidy, but he doesn't score. He scores, he gets goals. And I think forget Manchester United, since he's come to Chelsea, he's been in our league now, 5 or 6 years. He's done his job, hasn't he? As a foreign player, coming into this league, always delivered. I think he was Chelsea's Player of the Year in the first 2 years. And he paid 37 million for him.
45.
And he has consigned Pep Guardiola at City to defeat here. And it does mean that for Guardiola, it's the first time in his managerial career he's gone 6 games without a win. Let's hear from him now with Guy Havertz.
Pep, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm so proud of our performance. Congratulations for United for his next step. But I'm so proud for the young players, for the other players, how we played. We had our chance. We had 2 or 3 chances to the counter-attack. We finished the last pass. But I'm so proud.
What was the key to the game, do you think?
But in
to United's win?
And that level, when you arrive to be more clinical and the last pass, and to try to do that. But it's not always difficult against United. We know that, but we compete good.
When you've made 9 changes, is it always going to be difficult for them to gel quickly in such a big game?
No, they did it good. They did it good. They did it good. It's not just part of the team. So Pablo Maffeo was amazing fighting with Rashford, with Pogba, and he won almost all the duels. So I'm so proud. Aleix played really good, and the other guys as well, the people in experience. So we are happy.
It's a game, though, without a win. The run continues. Are you concerned about that at all?
I want to try to win, yeah. But okay, that's competition. Next season we're going to try again, and I'm focused in the next 3 competitions.
You took Vincent Kompany off at half-time. Can you tell us why that was?
He told me he could not play anymore. That's why.
Thanks for your time.
A pleasure.
And off he came. Vincent Kompany not featuring in the second half. What did that mean for the performance overall of Otamendi?
I think certain centre-backs like to be led and they just like to concentrate on their own job. I think Kompany's a leader, we know that. And I think Otamendi was fine. First half played very well. I think some centre-backs then, when they become the lead, Kolarov comes on, so he's the senior centre-back. And it's not just about your own game then. You've maybe got to look after the back four, look after Kolarov, who's not a natural centre-back. And, I mean, he was involved in the goal, but before the goal, I mean, me and Phil were here, looking at his performance, you think he's all over the place, and he's supposed to be your main man at the back. Now look at this there, misses a challenge there with Ibrahimovic. This is where Pogba hits the post, should score really. Or it's a great chance for him, great save by the goalkeeper, I must add as well. And then you have this one, he comes flying across now into this wide area. And it's just so rash. I mean, things that we saw in the first season, I thought maybe had been eradicated from his game. And don't forget, the young players in the team, you see the right back there, I thought was outstanding. He should be leading them, setting the example in how he's playing. And he's making worse decisions than the men and mistakes. And don't forget the goal we saw before, we're talking about Manchester United and Mate. It comes from Otamendi trying to get in front of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Again, a poor decision, and it just takes you back to the way he was in his first season. I thought that them days had gone.
Well, he did talk about he was proud of the performance of the City tonight, despite the fact that they did lose to United. The performance of the Spanish Mafia for a start. How impressed were you by him?
I was really impressed by Mafia. I was worried before the game because I thought Marcus Rashford would be too quick for him, but he was dogged, he was determined, he was aggressive in his defending. I thought he defended absolutely superb. Every time he was one-on-one, he never gave Rashford anything in the game, really. And even when he was beat at times, he got back, sprinted back, and I think City have got a real find on their hands there.
It was impressive, Jamie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think he done really well. I think there was one time in the first half, Rashford, they played the ball inside him, and the pace of Rashford left him for dead. It was here. But he got back fantastically well, got a block in, and throughout the game you watch him, you think, is he going to tire late on? Don't forget Paul Pogba come over to this side, you think of the power and strength of him. And to deal with that, and Rashford was the most dangerous player for Manchester United in the first half. So he was up against, as I said, the most dangerous one. And I think City have got a problem with fullback. I think going forward for Pep Guardiola, I think 4 of them, the first choice are over 30. I think he'll be looking to replace them. You look like they've got someone there, don't they, who could maybe step in, maybe not be first choice next season, but certainly can come in.
It is only a 4th win for Mourinho against Guardiola, but it is a significant one. Let's hear from the United manager now with Guy Havertz.
Jose, how pleased are you with that win tonight?
I'm happy. The players, they did everything. They deserve to win. And obviously we are happy. Especially because in the last weekend everything went against us, and obviously us, but we are professionals. But the fans obviously felt deeply such a negative result, and today was a good chance to clean a little bit that feeling, because it's always a derby and is a knockout, and to win against Man City, I think gives everyone a better feeling, and I'm especially happy for the players and especially happy for the fans.
Yeah, you apologised to the fans in the programme beforehand. Did you pick a stronger team tonight than you intended to because of what happened at the weekend?
Yeah. We were in a good run of of results, or at least not a bad run of results. I think in the last 7 we lost 1, but was a big defeat. Numbers that the history of this club doesn't deserve, and obviously when I am in a club, my heart belongs to the fans, and I felt especially deeply for them. But the reality is that I never had people like these ones. We lost 4-0, and they were supported. Today the stadium was full, and not full of people, full of real support. And it looks like the love that people has for the club is bigger than bad results, is bigger than three bad seasons. So we must give something back. And today, independent of the result, we could lose, and I would have the same feelings for my players. My players, they gave absolutely everything. In a very difficult run with matches every 2 days, big matches, Liverpool, Fenerbahce, Chelsea, City, and they gave absolutely everything. So I think they deserve. But even if today we lose, the feeling was fantastic, because the players, they show that they really care. They really care. They care with the fans, and they fought for them.
So United through then to the quarterfinals. Mourinho about to find out who his side will be facing in the last 8. Time now for the draw to find out who the likes of Southampton and West Ham, who've also won tonight, are going to face. 2 championship clubs in there as well. Leeds United and Newcastle winners last night. Here is Julian Waters with the draw for the last 8.
Welcome to the draw for the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. Alan McInally will be drawing the home teams, and Francis Benali will be drawing the away teams. The balls are already in the pot. Would you give them a stir, Francis, just to make sure everything's in order before we go? Francis enjoyed Southampton's win this evening. Away you go then, Alan. The first team, please.
First team's going to be... number 4.
Number 4 is Liverpool. 8 times winners. Beaten finalists last season, of course, and Liverpool will be home against...
Number 3.
Number 3 is Leeds United of the Championship. They needed penalties to overcome Norwich last night, so that is the first tie-out. Liverpool against Leeds. Away you go, Al.
Jurgen Klopp should be happy with that one. Number 6.
Now that is Manchester United, who overcame Manchester City in tonight's game, of course, by that 1-0.
You're welcome, Jose.
And they will be playing...
Number 8.
And that is West Ham United. So Manchester United against West Ham. West Ham have never won this tournament, twice in the final. They beat Chelsea tonight.
See if I can get your team a home one, Franny. 2.
Number 2 is Hull City, struggling in the Premier League, but knocked out Bristol City last night. And Hull are home against...
Number 5.
Number 5 is Newcastle United, Championship leaders, and thrashed Preston last night. So one more tie to come out. Alan's doing...
I'm trying my best. Okie dokie. Number 1.
Number 1 is Arsenal, and just one team left to pull out, Francis. And I think we know who this is.
Yeah, it's going to be number 7.
It's number 7, so that concludes it. It's Arsenal, and they are home against Southampton. Thank you very much indeed to Alan and to Francis. So that concludes the draw, and those ties will be played in the week commencing November the 28th.
Thanks ever so much. So confirmation then of the draw for the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. Liverpool, the 8 times winners, at home to Leeds United for the Championship. Had that terrific win on a penalty shootout against Norwich at Ellen Road last night. Manchester United's reward for getting through against City tonight. They're at home to West Ham. It is Hull against Newcastle and Arsenal against Southampton. Jamie Carragher, when that draw came out, Leeds at Anfield, you're whacking your right leg.
You're delighted with that. No, of course, you have Leeds, Newcastle in the Championship side. It's going to be tough. I mean, they'll bring a great crowd with them. They always do, Leeds. But I mean, you look at some of the teams in there. You could be going to Old Trafford. You could be going to the Emirates or away from home a Premier League team. So it's a decent draw for Liverpool.
Main thing is for Mourinho and Manchester United, they're at home in the next round. How will they reflect on West Ham as the opponents?
I think they'll be happy with a draw. I think if there was ever a year to get a trophy, this would be it. I think Jose likes to win this trophy. He's won it more than any other foreign manager, so it's one that he'll win. He'll want to win. And West Ham at home, I think West Ham will change the team. United won't, have they've shown tonight. So great opportunity. And
Newcastle will fancy that trip to Hull, won't they? Given the form they're in.
Well, you think of the results. How many? The crowd they had, I think, last night at St James's Park or whatever it's called now. I've totally forgot what it's called. But I mean, they've gone so long. Go with that. They've gone so long without winning a trophy. Yeah. You have so many games in the Championship, so it's difficult. But Rafa Benitez is a specialist really in cup competitions. He's got a great record over the years at different clubs, so they'll have that belief.
And the semi-final draw is shaping up nicely. So when you look at the teams in that final 8, the semi-finals could be rather tasty.
Yeah, a lot of teams have actually changed their best starting 11 up until now, but I think you'll see in the next rounds they'll play the full 11. I think it's a great opportunity for Arsenal, for Liverpool and for Manchester United to actually get silverware, and I think you'll see that in the next round they'll play the full strength 11.
I mean, the obvious team to pick out, but you're looking at Southampton, the run they're on, the form they're in the Premier League. I mean, they're a good shout, aren't they, to go all the way?
That'll be a tough game for Arsenal. I think Arsenal yesterday, changed virtually the whole team.
It's 9 changes last night.
Was it 9 changes? So it's whether they do that again. If they do that, I think you've got a right tough game with Southampton. They are in Europa League as well, so they may change a few players, but you see their performance at Man City at the weekend, and they make it very tough. They're on a great run with the new manager. 3 times
he's won it with Chelsea. He always took it seriously at that club. What could a win in this competition do for him here?
Massive confidence. I think people underestimate actually what winning a trophy does. It gives you confidence, it gives the team belief, it gives the supporters belief in the manager. And I think he said that after the game, how he felt embarrassed at Chelsea. I think the supporters, I said they're not unhappy with Jose, but they're waiting for the real Jose to come out. When I see him in interviews and on the touchline, I still see him a little bit reserved. I want him to come out and see the real Jose, where he's fighting the world like he was at Chelsea.
Are we going to see him again, though? Because so far this season, given the club he's taken over at, he's just appeared a joyless figure so far. The weight of the world's on his shoulders.
I think maybe that comes from maybe his first real negative in management, coming from Chelsea. And the start hasn't been what maybe you'd expect at Manchester United. It's still early days, still waiting for people to bed in. So I think when he starts getting wins, you'll start seeing the smiling Jose again, the happy Jose. But I think Phil's right. I mean, we've all been used to Jose and being very successful and fighting the world. That's the way he's always gone about it. He's a little bit like that at the moment, but you weren't too happy with him always shaking hands and cuddling Pep way before the game. You want them fighting?
No, I mean, you saw him. You saw it with Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Hospital pass.
How he went to war with Pep then, and you just hope now. Do it again. Sir Alex Ferguson did it all the time with managers that were competing against him, and I think a couple more wins, and I think he will. I hope we'll see the real Jose.
Do you think he's adjusting in some ways the vast traditions of this club, knowing exactly as a manager in terms of his demeanour how he's going to play it?
I think that plays a part in how he's acting at the moment. But I look back at previous managers at this club, and they've never been afraid of saying what they want, acting like they do. Yeah, there are traditions that you have to behold, but I think the United fans want to see now the real Jose, who will, that siege mentality that he had at Chelsea, us against the world, bring it to Old Trafford.
Just one more point on this. I mean, you spoke in that interview about his heart belonging to the fans. Given the stories that came out yesterday about him being unhappy, living in Manchester, it's not quite how he imagined it, the family living down south. He's had a little bit of a bridge to build with them tonight. The result helps, but also what he says afterwards as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're looking for a house in a city, look,
there's plenty.
There's a plenty. I can rent in my house if he wants, but there's plenty of houses to be bought, to be rented, and I think that's something that he will have to sort out. When you see a manager constantly living in a home,
he's laughing because he's ready to go.
You're not going to move from London to Manchester, are you?
Why not?
Behave.
Let's seamlessly move on to United's next 6, because Herrera, in that interview alongside Juan Mata, talked about using tonight as a bit of a springboard. They've got Burnley at home and then Swansea away. How much of a springboard might it provide, Phil?
Well, I think those set of fixtures, he said it after the game on Sunday, look, United aren't on a disastrous run. They've only lost 1, I think, in the last 7, so I think if he starts hitting the ground now in the league, Europa League is obviously the bottom of the priority. Keep winning in the EFL Cup. Look, United are still in the title race, only 6 points behind the leaders. City aren't playing well. teams are dropping points, so it's not a disaster.
City aren't playing well at the moment. There have been a lot of changes tonight, but the overall picture not as positive by any means compared to what we saw early on in the season. How are things going to pan out over the next few games as more teams take them on in the way that we've seen recently?
Yeah, well, that's something they have to deal with. I think they went a little bit different today, went a bit more direct in that first half, 4-4-2. I mean, I think some of the criticism that Pep and Man City have had over the last few games, I mean, sometimes you've got to give credit. I mean, Spurs' performance was fantastic. I mean, the game against Everton, I was there, they should have won that 4-5-1. They're outstanding there. I think he seems pretty pleased with the performance there of some of the young players. And watching in the manager's interview there, Pep Guardiola, this has been a big competition for Man City the last couple of years, you know, under Pellegrini, but I think he's happy with the performance, how they've played some of the young players. And look at his demeanour. I don't think it's the end of the world for him that he's lost here today. I think he sees that as giving him a chance to have 3 weeks coming up. And for managers now, all you ever hear them talk about is training properly. And I think for Pep Guardiola, that'd be important to have 3 weeks so he can get that message across to the players, what he wants going forward.
Well, he went 5 without a win at Barcelona, went on to win the treble, didn't do him any harm that time round. But let's look at what City have got coming up in terms of fixtures. Phil, when you look at these coming up in the Premier League, the next 4, what's the minimum they need from that? 4 out of 4, surely.
Well, yeah, he'll be looking to win all those 4. The games that you expect them to win, but I just don't think it's as easy as, oh, we'll win against West Brom, Middlesbrough, Palace and Burnley, when you're not in the best of forms. I think teams now are being set up better against them. We've seen different types of performances. Everton sat off deep, Southampton went full press and sat off deep as well. Tottenham went full press. So I think now he's been tested right to the maximum.
Is the confidence of the players being tested as well? When they go full strength, you seem, particularly from a defensive point of view, that the confidence is just ebbing away slightly in terms of how he wants them to play.
I don't think they're playing bad football, but what I do see at the moment, I see someone in like Sergio Aguero who doesn't look totally happy. I don't think he's playing in the positions that I think he wants to play. I saw him in the second half against Southampton. He was playing more like a number 10. Today when he came on, every time a ball came in the box, he didn't seem to be in the box. So I think it's the same situation with Pep as the problem he has with playing centre forwards. I don't think he likes playing with them. But apart from that, I don't think that they're fully gelling as a team at this moment in time.
A final word on the EFL Cup, Jamie. Of those teams through to the last 8, who for you the team to beat?
Who do you think? No, I think I agree with Phil in terms. It depends who goes with what team. I think going forward, even in semi-final, I think when you go to semi-final, you virtually go full strength. But I think for a lot of the teams now, the stage we're at now, the competition in the Premier League, not just to win the Premier League, to get into the top 4. So this, I think, is the best chance for Liverpool to get a trophy, Manchester United, maybe even Arsenal, because the competition now is so difficult. And I think getting in the top 4 this season would be an achievement. But in terms of picking up a trophy, you're at this stage now. They're all at home, probably the 3 biggest teams in the country, really, in history and tradition. So to see them at home, you'd fancy them to go on to the semi-final, and then all 3 have got a great chance.
In his first season in charge, would this trophy be enough for United fans?
Yeah, I think it would. I think you can't underestimate winning a trophy. And you saw, he's the only manager that has played his strongest team in this competition this last couple of days. So it shows how much it means to him and how important it will be for this football club.
Phil, Jamie, good to see you tonight. There's nothing wrong with a nice house here in Manchester.